Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Friday, July 3rd, 2020, and my man Andrew Hansen and I are here to go over the PGA weekend golf for those reloading or just jumping in for the weekend play. We are going to go over some value plays and some chalk plays and everything in between. So are you ready to handle some PGA, Mr. Hansen?
That's right. We've got our focus turned toward the weekend. We're going to look at some weekend specific stats and see if we can put together the right mix for everybody.
And we're going to get it. We're going to get it for sure. And I didn't mention that I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, for those of you that don't know who I am. And this is Mr. Andrew Hansen, Mr. Language Olympic on Twitter. And he's been Mr. Hot Golfer, especially with the mid-level and value guys. We've been getting a lot of feedback that he's sort of in a class of his own there. So we're fired up about that. But before we jump in here real quickly, I'd like to definitely thank our sponsors for bringing this show forward. MyBookie.ag, the place to go for all of your sports wagering and casino action. Go to mybookie.ag and use the promo code Coach Talk, all one word though, not two words, Coach Talk, to receive an exclusive offer of 50% of your sign-up bonus, all the way up to $1,000, and you get the special $25 free play just also for being a member of DFS Coach Talk. So they're great offer. Jump on there. You can sign up right through our website or at mybookie.ag. Also, our good friend, horse racing friends at TVG, go to dfscoachtalk.com, click on the logo that says TVG. It's the only place you can get this offer. It doesn't exist for anybody else except members that are on our website, people that are on our website. You don't even have to be a member. You could be joining or checking out our website, but click on the TVG logo, and you receive that awesome risk-free $300 play, which you can put on the nose of a horse, and if it loses, you get your $300 back from TVG. It's a great offer. Fantastic stuff. Also, I wanted to mention, if you are watching us right now on YouTube, I believe that right there and there, if you can like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate that. That helps really get the flow working of more and more people listening in, and allows us to climb the charts a little bit when people are searching for DFS or PGA or whatever sport they're looking for. And if you're listening to us audio version of this, which we're everywhere podcasts can be heard, whether it's iTunes, Apple Podcast, Spotify, we're everywhere. We'd ask you take a second to rate, review, subscribe, throw that 5 stars up there. Quick like really means a lot to us as well. So we're pretty much everywhere. If you need to catch some DFS Coach Talk, we're there. So you search us wherever you want to go, and we are there. And we just want, would love if you take a second to give us a thumbs up and subscribe and hit that alarm button so that you know when our podcast posts. That's always fantastic. All right, well, we're here today to talk about the Rocket Mortgage Classic, which is being played in Sugar Shane's backyard there in Detroit, Michigan. And we have completed the second round. Cuts have been made. Big score again, -4 doesn't cut it. You had to get to -5 to make it today. And we talked a little bit about this on our Wednesday show, just very briefly, though. Wanted to mention this is a 7,334 yard par 72, and it is pretty open. It is very long, but it is very open. So it's the bombers it's paying off for them. And, the strokes from tee to green, also big stat for those guys across the board. So we're seeing quite a bit of, there's always a mixture, but definitely doesn't hurt to be able to poke it off the tee for sure. So Detroit Golf Club, I know we were talking a little bit before the podcast. I know you've watched a bit of it here and there to sort of check out how it's playing. What is your take so far, Mr. Golf here?
Well, the birdies are a must. The 5 under cut is really tough, and that's what it was last year. And we talked about how Nate Lashley won it with 25 under. We knew guys were going to have to go low. And one of the stats we looked at on the midweek show previewing the whole tournament was that par 4 scoring between 450 and 500 yards, because there's 4 of those. And some of our value plays, that's really where we got them. Hudson Swafford was 5th in that category coming into the week, and he was one of our value plays. We should just hit on those real quick.
Yeah.
Because last week we gave out 5 players to our members under 7,000, and 4 of them made the cut. And this week we were 3 for 5, 1 shot away for 4 out of 5. The defending champ Lashley, he was 5 under. He was all set to go on the last hole today. He bogeyed number 18. So 3 out of 5 is still great though for the 6K range.
Big time.
Hudson Swafford was one of those guys, $6,400, and he was 0.7% owned in the Millie Maker, and he's 9 under, tied for 11th. We gave out Sam Burns. He's 7 under. He was at 6,900, 5% owned guy. And then Ryan Armour, he had an ace today.
64.
He's 11 under. He's tied for 3rd, 2.5% owned, 6,900. So, those are some of the guys we've been on. Again, the par 4 efficiency from 450 to 500 yards is something we've been looking at. That has continued to be important here in the first 2 rounds. I'm excited here about some of these value guys, but it's going to shift a little bit because, as I mentioned, one of the stats I've been looking at here today is round 3 and round 4 scoring, and some of these guys just have not been that strong in that category. And I've got a few surprises to share today.
Interesting. The reason I knew that your man Armour shot a 64, which was the low score of the day, with an ace included, is there was only one guy, and that's him, that shot better than my Mr. Scotty Scheffler with a 65, but he still couldn't make the cut. So I won't whine anymore. He was one of my key plays this week, but when you start at 79, 65 doesn't get you to the cut. So it is what it is. We move on to another week. So I know you've got some really good lineups, Roaring. I think Armour, fantastic pick, and some of those quality guys. I had some really good guys in there too. I still have a slight chance, even with that Scheffler missing the cut, to get in there on the bottom, some cashing, and then I'm going to double up on some of these guys that have been hot. I had Matthew Wolff in all of my plays this week too. I was pretty fired up about that. He's playing some good golf. So it's good stuff. It's interesting. What I want to do now is go over the odds. We decided to do this PGA show on Friday a couple hours later than we did last week so that we can really get the settled in final scores from the cut and then get all the new odds that are posted. So I'm on mybookie.ag right now, and they have the odds up for winning the tournament this weekend. And there's 2 prohibitive favorites that's not even close. Webb Simpson is plus 250, and Bryson DeChambeau is plus 275. Everybody else is 100 million miles away. So you get great value if you want to play anybody directly. And I've been trying, like heck, to stump you on my quizzes, and you're like 4 for 4 in golf. I think I got a shot at you today. So okay. I want to see 3 through 10, those 7 guys that are the next 7 favorites to win this tournament this weekend. And you get 3 misses, and you have to get 4 makes.
Okay.
You ready? Go for it.
I'm ready. Tyrrell Hatton's got to be on there.
Absolutely. He is 4th at plus 1,600. He's playing super golf, man. He really is. Do you see the thing that happened at the tournament. He was in the fairway getting ready to hit a shot. I mean, he was standing over the shot, and there was this big loud noise of one of the porta potties, somebody slamming the door of it. And he looked up, and like he was really mad, and he looked over and he goes, "Oh my gosh," he tells the camera, "that's my fiance." So they scan over to her, and she goes, "Sorry, honey." And he's like, "Oh my God." So I thought that was
That's
a good
funny.
story. Hard to believe.
Probably relaxed him.
There was nobody else around either. So, how that goes. But all right. So you got 1 for 1. You get 3 more you got to get.
So you mentioned Wolf. He's got to be up there as a guy who has won before.
He is
Matthew
plus
Wolff.
1,600. He's
Okay.
right behind Hatton.
And then you got to figure these veterans are getting some money, like Kevin Kisner.
He is. He's 8th, plus 2,800.
All right. And then, I mean, it's kind of cheating, but the guy who's tied for first, Chris Kirk, you got to figure he's in the top 10 in the odds. He's won before.
He's actually 3rd. Yeah, plus
All right.
1,600. So you swept the board. All right. Now I'm coming up with a way tougher quiz for you next time. That's all there is to it. So it goes Simpson and DeChambeau by a mile. Then Kirk, Hatton, Wolf, my guy Hovland. I've got him in all my lineups. Kisner, you mentioned. Your boy Ryan Armour with his ace in 64 today. And then this guy has been our unsung PGA hero so far, Mark Hubbard.
Yeah, he has.
He cracks the top. He's in the top 10 to win the tournament. Who would believe that? And the next guy, if you can get this next guy, I'll give you just 2. I will give you a Millie Maker entry for free next week. I'll give you 2 guesses at who's the last guy on the list for the top 10 to win it.
Could they possibly have the guy who's tied for 3rd out of nowhere, Seamus Power?
It is not him. This is it. Last chance. Could maybe get the stump for the first time.
Doc Redman.
No.
Stewart?
Richie Warinsky.
Oh, man. Now who's going to bet that?
Richie Warinsky is only plus 3,300. So there you go. I finally got you. For the record, Doc Redman was next on the list. So good job. Right. So anyway, I guess the question is this. Do you go Simpson and DeChambeau in a bunch of value and try to stack both? Or is this one of those scenarios where you have to pick a side, sort of like we did a couple tournaments ago, and then build around those? What are you thinking?
Well, I think you can. I haven't tried to build it with those 2. I think it's a little bit easier if you're looking at the guys I like at the top, 4 of the top 5 or 6. Bryce, if you pair Bryson and Hovland, that works. Or if you go Webb and Hatton, those are 2 and 3 on the pricing. So you get, if you take a little discount off of Bryson, that build works as well. I've put some lineups together that way.
Okay.
So that's how I'm looking at it, is try to get 2 of those top 5 or 6 guys.
And then build around them.
And then you're definitely going to need a guy in the 6K range, maybe a low 7K guy. So,
yeah.
But I've got notes on these guys on the weekend. Why don't I jump into that?
Yeah, I'm dying to know. That's probably the factor to tip the scales. I think.
Well, how about this? Let's start with Bryson versus Webb. Okay. Webb Simpson, 3rd round scoring this year is number 2. 4th round scoring, he's number 1.
Yes.
How's that for weekend scoring for a guy who down the stretch today, he holed out from the bunker, tough bunker shot. I mean, if he's, making tough bunker shots, he's got, he just won and he's that good on the weekend. He's got a lot going in his favor. So
I'm going to do some studying. I bet you there's no one else that's been 1-2 on Saturday, Sunday combined since Tiger in
probably
his prime.
Since Tiger. Yeah.
I just, that's outrageous. Yeah.
And then the next guy is pretty impressive too. Tyrrell Hatton, 8th in round 3 scoring, 10th in round 4 scoring, top 10 in both. That's also incredible.
He's courageous. Both of those guys you just mentioned, I mean, multiple Ryder Cups, just, those guys eat pressure for lunch. They don't need to make a buck more the rest of their lives. I mean, for them, it's just freewheeling. So I get it. And those Simpson, that's pretty amazing one too. Hatton to have 2 top 10s, very, very solid.
So compare that to Bryson, who, as you might expect, in the 4th round is excellent. He's number 4, but in the 3rd round this year, he's only 107.
Ugh.
Okay, so something to think about there.
That's moving day. That's a key day.
That's moving day. Makes you hesitate a little bit. And then Hovland, who you can pair with Bryson pretty easily to build a lineup. He's solid. He's 25th on round 3, 69th on round 4. And there aren't many guys here really who are in the top 100 in both. So, that doesn't sound very impressive, but compared to guys down in the 8 to 9K range, it's pretty strong. So Webb and Hatton really stand out on those metrics at the guys at the top. A couple guys in the mid-range. Lucas Glover is 66th in the 3rd round and 32nd in the 4th round. And last weekend, he was 6 under on the weekend. So I like that trend with him.
Nice guy. Nice value guy. Yeah.
Adam Hadwin, a little bit cheaper. He's 74th in the 3rd round and 15th in the 4th round.
I've seen improvement from him. The Canadian, he played in that President's Cup under some, tough situations. I think those kind of things build guys' confidence, and I like Hadwin. He's a nice player.
Now, we've talked about Wolf a little bit and how well he's playing, and people have been waiting for him to break out. He has not been good on the weekend.
No.
Number 210 in round 3 and number 139 in round 4. So, maybe he's figured it out and he's just playing so well. I mean, he was just crushing birdies today. So, maybe he's figured it out, but
210, good Lord.
Yeah. We've talked about Ryan Armour. He's another guy in the top 100 and he's a lot cheaper. He's 7,100 on DraftKings. Round 3, he's 77th on the year, and round 4, he's 35th.
Not bad.
Good stuff there, and 8 under last weekend. Had a good push. Here's 2 guys who were really good in round 3 but bad in round 4. Kevin Kisner, 7th in round 3, but he blows up on Sundays. He's number 206 on Sundays. And Similarly, Chris Kirk, the guy at the top, 19th in round 3, but round 4, he's number 210. And they did mention on the broadcast today how he's been dealing with some off-the-course issues, addiction, depression. And so hopefully he's
really
sorted that out. Hopefully he's in a better frame of mind.
Wow.
It's great that he's back playing again, playing well. But just wanted to mention that as well.
Yeah, I did not know that. It's interesting. There are some guys floating around up here. I mean, Ryan Armour's been around for a million years. He's 44 years old. You look, his FedEx Cup rating right now is 112, and he's ranked 194. I mean, you got a lot of these guys that really haven't, been steady for their career. So it's hard to know if they're just having one of those rounds or two and they're going to fall back. But man, trying to find those right value guys is the key. But I don't know how I cannot play Webb Simpson knowing that he's 2nd and 1st in the weekend play. I mean, that's just outrageous. I mean, he's tied for the lead right now. He could run away with this thing. Certainly something to look at. And then you wonder if anybody's going to play these, guys that nobody knows. Seamus Power, and then our buddy Richie Wawrinski, and there's a few guys like that. I've seen Sepp Straka play some. He's okay.
Yep.
But JJ Spawn, I mean, there's some guys in here that I can't pull the trigger on, even though they're in the top 15 in this tournament. So I think my initial strategy, Andrew, and I don't know, tell me what you think about it, but I'm thinking I'm going to take that old strategy of let's find some guys like Sungjae Im that just made the cut. He's 5 under. He's 2nd group out tomorrow. We know he can play well. He's going to be shooting for pins. When these guys like that, like we've talked about last week, they can shoot. And I said this And I'll say it now. I said it with DJ last week that he could come out Saturday and shoot for the pins and shoot a 61, and he did. And so, a guy in a similar spot, the two guys that I see are Sungjae Im and Hideki Matsuyama are both down there at 5 under. And those are two guys, I think on this course, 64, 65 is about the best you can do. I really do. I just don't see it anybody. It's too long to do much better than that. But I think I'm going to stack a few of those guys that are way down the list and then try to cherry pick some of the guys at the top without having to go with the Ryan Armours. And I know I'm probably double jinxing Ryan Armour into having like another 64, but I've seen those guys for 15 years throw 77s on the board. So I just don't want to go there. What do you think? Is my strategy reasonable?
I like the approach. And looking back at some stats here that we talked about on Wednesday, Hideki is number 12 on the season in par 5 scoring. Sorry. And we highlighted the fact that there's 4 par 5s here, and that has not been the case the last couple weeks. So a guy that just made the cut, we know he can go low. I like the idea there. I don't know if he's, he just hasn't quite been on here recently. So we'll see if he can put it together. And similar with Sungjae Im, he is in the top 50 in par 5 scoring, and he's in the top 50 in par 4 scoring on the long par 4s. So you would think that he would do well in this course. But last week he was tied for 58, so he's been kind of just sliding into the slide along, just sort of making the cut and just not really doing much. So I guess that's why you would play a GPP, right? Is you roll the dice that this is when they click and they're that far back and they just start firing at pins and they figure something out and off they go.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different strategies you can use, but, a lot of people, I think, and myself included, sometimes you get caught watching the scoreboard and you just have to think to yourself, okay, let's just look at this as a completely different tournament. There were 2 rounds played. That's done with. We have 2 new rounds now. So if you sort of sort it out in your brain that way, it's not as difficult to not take some of the guys in the middle or down towards the bottom. Everybody likes to watch their DFS plays play. When you play other sports, baseball, football, basketball, your guys are all out there playing. Golf is sort of odd because if you don't have the guys in those final 4 or 5 groups, you're not really getting to see any shots from your guys. So I think it makes people defer to saying, what the hell, I think Wolf's on a run. Let's give him a shot. And as much as I like Wolf, he's still young. His Saturday and Sunday scoring is horrendous. And, I find a hard time putting him in there. I think he's going to be extremely high owned. But that's the kind of example I'm trying to use here is, don't let that totally intimidate you just because you want to watch your guys, hitting some shots. But I will say, I'll tell you, as much as that Simpson stat makes me want to go that way, the fact that DeChambeau is so damn long off the tee, he ought to just swallow up those par 5s. I mean, he should go eagle, birdie, par maybe on those par 5s. I mean, realistically, when you're hitting your second shot on a par 5 with like a 5-iron or 6-iron like he does, it's a different ball game. So, I think you have some good choices here. I don't see how you possibly build a lineup without Simpson or DeChambeau. That would take some very contrarian play. They should be the highest 2 owned, and they will be. But it's how you build the rest of that team around them that's the key. And for me, it's going to be surfing in that middle of the pack, guys that just made the cut, and try to bumper them in with some of these top players.
I like it.
All right, man. Anything else? We talked, mainly the course, driving distance. You still have to putt it. But the course seems to be playing pretty fair. It's not a piece of cake, but just the fact that somebody could shoot a 64 on a course like that mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But,
No, that's it. So this was a doubleheader day today. If
yes.
you missed the KBO show, Coach and Shane rocked that one. So a good night to jump in as a member because you get our plays for both KBO and PGA tonight. So if you jump in Discord as a new member, you'll get that full lineup on FanDuel for both sports and the player pool for both sports on DraftKings.
Absolutely. And just so you know, Shane and I made our player rating on the podcast just to try to rattle you. We both gave it a 4-star.
Wow.
How about
All right.
that? So
Hey.
we've got a 4-star KBO slate. As far as this weekend PGA slate, we'll post that in Discord. We still have to build those lineups a little bit. I would say it's minus 760 that Andrew has a 3-star, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Right.
That was on mybookie.ag, by the way. So
yeah, right.
But no, it looks great. It should be a fun golf tournament this weekend. It's a 4th of July weekend. We'll be on tomorrow for the 4th of July doing our KBO podcast. So Andrew will be back in his home state under, a little bit more relaxed frame of mind, being in his element. So
that's right.
We look forward to that show tomorrow. So we'll wish everybody a happy 4th tomorrow. But yeah, check out the podcast, the KBO, and obviously, we'll be posting this PGA one, so you have plenty of time to get those in. Join us at www.dfscoachtalk.com. I never say the W's anymore, but I wanted to for old time's sake. And follow us on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. I'm at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. He is at Language Olympic, and our man Shane is at DET Sports Shane. You can follow us on YouTube, as hopefully most of you are watching us on there now. DFS Coach Talk is what you search there. Instagram, we're at DFS_Coach Talk. And then anywhere you search us on podcast, we're going to come up. We're all over the podcast world with the audio version of this show. So great stuff. I think we're in for a good weekend of KBO and PGA action as we look to continue to build the pool and build our bankrolls as we 3 weeks from today start MLB, followed 6 days later by NBA. So it's all happening. It's all coming back around. The days where we actually get to sleep in more than 3-hour intervals with KBO are going to pass at some point. But it's been a blast. We love playing both. We appreciate everybody listening in. And we wish you a safe and happy weekend. Wear those masks. Be careful. And let's get all through this and make sure we can get these sports in and get this virus under control. So any final words there, sir?
No, enjoy the beginning of this holiday weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you on KBO tomorrow.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvadi for Mr. Andrew Hansen. We'll catch you again tomorrow as we look to crush it in DFS.